On the behalf of Research Foundation of India, I would like to welcome you all. I am Professor Nikita Sharma, MP Secretary, Research Foundation of India. Would like to greet all of you present here in 10 days training program on a step-by-step guide to write a good research paper. As you all know that today we all are here for ninth day of training program. Yesterday in day 8, the session was taken out by respected Dr. Deepak Agrawal sir and the subject was compiling references bibliography. That was a full package of study and summarization of the topic. And today our topic is understanding ethical issues and plagiarism. For that, we have joined with respected Dr. Sumanta Datta sir. I know you all are very curious for the session, but before going ahead, I would like to introduce sir, and I consider it a great honor for me. Dr. Sumanta Datta is presently associated with the Postgraduate and Research Department of Commerce, St. Xavier College, Kolkata, under the University of Calcutta. He is the State President, West Bengal, of Department of Research and Innovation Wing of Research Foundation of India. He has over 21 years of experience in teaching and research. He has contributed 5 edited books, 2 case books, and 1 research book from a reputed publishing house of India. He has also written a book titled Research and Publication Ethics in Social Science for MPhil PhD scholars, which was mandated by UGC for pre-PhD registration. He also obtained one patent from the Patent Office of India on December 31st, 2021. He has acted as a resource person for more than 43 workshops conducted and organized by various research bodies in India on the theme of research ethics. He has also contributed more than 40 research papers in various national and international journals, including UGC CARE and Scopus. His work has been cited well both in SSRN Top 10 download list as well as in Google Scholar. For his outstanding contribution in the field of marketing research, he got the National Education Leadership Award in 2019. He also obtained the Teaching and Research Award in 2020, the Outstanding Postgraduate Faculty Mentoring Award in 2020 to 21, and Education Excellence Award in 2021. Recently, he obtained the Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Education Excellence Award in 2022. So, firstly, congratulations, sir, for this.
Thank you. Thank you.
And sir is an approved PhD guide, and apart from this, sir has a long list of achievement in academic and research. So, with this, I would like to invite sir for the session. Please welcome, sir. Now the session is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Nikita Sharma, the host of this particular session. I'm very much thankful to the authority, both the Parul University, Gujarat, and Sant Hridayam Girls College, Bhopal, and as well as finally it goes to the Research Foundation of India and Ajay Jain sir for giving me this opportunity to share this platform with all of you in this evening on 28th of December. So thanks to all of you. Thanks to Nikita ma'am, and thanks to the coordinator. Two coordinator was there, Priyanka Chawla ma'am as well as Kunjan ma'am. I'm very much thankful to the coordinator as well for giving me this opportunity. I will share my PowerPoint. I hope that all of you will enjoy the session because always I try to take the session based on an interactive mode. Hope that by virtue of this session, you will learn a lot based on my small capacity of the knowledge that I have in the field of ethics. I'm sharing my screen. If you can see the screen, please inform me.
Sure, sir.
Can you see my
Visible.
screen?
Visible, sir.
Okay. Now see, before I start the session, I likely to why I have taken this the topic understanding the ethical issues in plagiarism. See, all of you are maybe in the form of a research scholar, young faculty members, senior faculty members, and see, based on my own experience of understanding, you know that I have written one book on this ethics, I have started writing this book in 2016. At that time, the UGC has not came out with this particular guideline of mandatory guideline, and that was published in 2018. So I have a long vision of taking into consideration the ethical part of research, and for which I have started writing this book on 2016. Now, why understanding the ethical issue becomes more and more important nowadays? If you can ask me this question, the answer is very, very pertinent. If you see the new education policy, now you can understand that, see, we are moving from 3 years undergraduate program to 4 years undergraduate program. Where the 4 years, the last year, if according to the requirement of the student, they can go for 4 years honors with research. Then what is the utility of this 4 years undergraduate with research? Then if a student, undergraduate student, opt for honors with 4 years research, last year will be kept for research only, then automatically there is no need to go for master's program. The students can obtain, if the person, particular candidate, obtain the CGPA 7.5 or 75% marks, the candidate can directly go for PhD. So you understand the gravity of this issue, that if students of undergraduate level can opt for research after completion of their undergraduate program successfully, then we have to be, then we the academicians, we the researcher, we the assistant professors, associate professor, professor in the junior level and senior level, we must accountable more and more, because of this. If we have to understand this ethical part, and then we have to disseminate this information to our undergraduate students, and definitely to our postgraduate students, MPhil scholars as well as PhD scholars. But how are we aware of all those techniques? Sometimes it is very difficult for us to understand. So that is why we try to focus and give some highlight on that issue, and tell you which is right and which is wrong, and how you can overcome this issue. Thanks to Research Foundation of India, and thanks to Nikita ma'am for hosting this session. I'm coming to this topic once again. Now, what is ethics? Now, if you can think about the research ethics, that is a moral practice. If you can ask me the question, already I have taken 43rd session on this topic. So if you can ask me that, can you teach ethics, research ethics? I can say no, I cannot teach you ethics, because ethics always come within. But yes, you must understand some of the nitty-gritty of this research ethics, particularly how the ethics can be applicable in research. Okay, which one is right and which one is wrong from the viewpoint of the researcher, even from the viewpoint of the mentor as well. Because if I blame only the researcher, then it is not good. We jointly responsible to inculcate the culture of research. Are we exclude the in our institution? No. Our institution is invariably part of it, part of our journey. How? I will explain you slowly, one by one. So what is research ethics? Now we came to know that which one is right and which one is wrong in the context of the research that we try to focus or explain in a simple possible way the research ethics. Now, there are three different perspectives of thinking the research ethics. How we can look the research ethics from a different angle. Now, we can take this ethics from three different point of view. Ethics as a disposition, ethics as duty, and ethics as utilitarian. Now, in the context of this disposition, we can take this particular philosophy, the philosophy of ethics as disposition, from the viewpoint of the Aristotle. Like, a researcher must possess some quality characters. What are those character or features or attribute? Like, you must have an academic freedom. You must have originality of thought. You must have openness and trustworthiness. Okay, so that we can do in this context. We must have this ethics as duty. So from the ethics as a disposition, we must came to know that as a researcher, as an academician, we must have the freedom. That freedom must be received from our institution. We must have an original contribution in the field of social science. If we think about only people who are attending this particular webinar or are from social science, or maybe from a science discipline. Okay, we must have openness of thought, openness of sharing our ideas with others so that we can get the feedback. And last one is the trustworthiness. Okay, trustworthiness, the people who are providing us the data, are we maintaining the trustworthiness of the data? Are we keeping the secrecy of those data? This is very important. Ethics as duty is focus we have taken from Kant, the philosopher Kant. What is this most important is that in this case, we are more responsible to respect each other. That means as a researcher, I have to respect the other researcher. As a researcher, I have to respect my institution. As a researcher, I have to respect my mentor. So that is a duty that we have. And by virtue of that, we try to avoid some of the problems that may arise in the due course of time in while we are obtaining or we are pursuing our research in a much more integrated way, like the conflict of interest, like the dissemination of our research information. These are the part of our duty that we must take care of. Last part, the ethics as utilitarian means a universal application of our ethical conduct. Okay, that means the research that I have undertaken or the research that we have undertaken from our higher educational point of view, that it must serve the stakeholder at large. This is very important. That means whether to what extent the research that I have undertaken must contribute something for the well-being of the society at large. So that is ethics as a utilitarian. Now these are the certain things that must strike, that must be we must taken care of while undertaking the research ethics. Now, most of the important problem arises. What is that problem? The problem arises that in spite of this ethical information that right now I'm providing it to you, research related misconduct, research related some other malpractices are very common phenomena. Earlier, 20 years ago, this phenomena was there. Now it was still there, and in the future, it must be there. Hopefully, we try to reduce it to the maximum possible extent. Now, you can ask me one question. So, at what stage this particular misconduct will happen? It can happen at any point of time. You know, couple of days ago, when I am taking a session, there is a one senior professor, an associate professor from political science, asked me one question. The question is that sir, during break time in my teacher's room, staff room, I have shared one idea with my fellow colleague. And then what happened, sir? After that event, after the passage of 3 months' time, this fellow colleague who got the idea from me written a paper and published it in a very good journal. Okay. So do you think there is some unethical practice happen here? The answer that I have given to that particular senior professor, yes, ma'am, it has happened. But how we can protect them? Is there any possible way we can protect them? No, because there does not exist the concept of trustworthiness. We often say that we have to create a culture of research integrity. We have to disseminate our information for a better, broader benefit of our society at large. But if the idea, it is in my mind and I have not implemented in a real form, I try to restrict myself that I will not share the data, the idea with someone else. So research, I have given you this example only to showcase this particular thing, that research related misconduct can happen at any point of time. Maybe you are at the ideal stage, the stage of the convincing of your idea to materialize it, or it may happen during your writing, when you're writing your dissertation, when you're writing a particular article, when you're writing a particular research empirical papers or something like that. So there is very important issue that we must take in. So we must be careful about that. At what time this kind of misconduct can happen and how we overcome it. Now question arises, why there is too much enhancing the rise of this misconduct? Okay, why there the people are involved into this misconduct. See, based on my knowledge, little bit knowledge I have, I came across three important things. First point is that difficulty of publication. Second point is that constant pressure. And third point is the knack, the issue. Now, how these are related with each other. I'm telling you a very simple possible way. See, now NAC, they have published one document in 27th of May 2022. They have stated that we, at the time of evaluation of any accreditation of any institution, they will consider only those papers which are published in UGC CARE or which are either in group 1 or in group 2. There are two parts of UGC CARE journal, you know, all of you. There are two parts of it, group 1 and group 2. Group 1, which is being evaluated by the core committee, expert committee of UGC CARE, and they time to time include some of the journals as part of UGC CARE Group 1 list. Group 2 list are totally comprises of those particular journals which are already being indexed in Scopus or Web of Science or in such a standardized format or ABDC. So in that case, automatically these are fall under the group 2. So automatically you can understand when a particular institution is being evaluated only on the basis of this criteria, where the number of articles published not only in the peer-reviewed journal, but only on the UGC CARE or Scopus or Web of Science or problem-related journal. Automatically there is a pressure, and that pressure must be provided by the institution that please all the teachers at least publish 2 papers in a year. You have your academic workload, you have your administrative workload, then how much time you are getting to publish? Automatically, people, the teachers, the scholars are also involved in the process of this misconduct. And third most important thing is that there arises the problem of difficulty of publication. I can give an example from my own side because it is a particular session based on experience sharing. I can give from my own experience. I have submitted my paper for a particular reputed journal in UGC CARE Group 1. Now, after the submission of this journal, 1 year passed away and I have not yet received any response. So once I mailed them again and again that what is the status of this paper? So they said, sir, your paper is under process, but we have so many papers right now in the queue, and automatically for getting any kind of final response regarding your paper, it will take another 1 year. So I said that at that time, the data becomes irrelevant. Okay, data redundancy being possible. So I said that what to do. So because this particular, the coordinator is known to me, so I said that, is it possible that I can withdraw my paper from your reputed institution? Okay. So yes, they said, yes, sir, you can withdraw the paper. So there is a problem of difficulty of publication nowadays. See, 1 year passed away and still there is no response, positive or negative. So this is very important nowadays because we have a selected few UGC CARE Group 1 journals, and automatically they are under tremendous pressure that all the faculties from every nook and corner of India trying to publish their papers in this journal. So automatically difficulty of publication. So people trying to opt for some malpractice. And that is why this kind of misconduct is on rise. Now, question arises that what type of misconduct generally being undertaken by the scholars as well as the faculty members. Okay, or maybe in the down the line when undergraduate students will go for this 4 years honors with research, there is a high chance that they can also involve into the process of this misconduct. The first one is called FFP, fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. Second one is called ghostwriting. Third one is obfuscation, and fourth one is image manipulation. I will explain you all the points, but prior to that, I will try to explain you one important thing, that scientific misconduct is a very broad term. And under the head of scientific misconduct, when you try to utter the word FFP, fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism, it means you are trying to focus on important issue that is called research fraud. Okay, that is called research fraud. So under the end, so you can say that research fraud is a subset of the entire scientific misconduct, where FFP, fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism is equivalent to the research fraud. That 3 important elements comprises of research fraud. Okay. So I will explain you all those points. I'm coming to the first ghostwriting part. So what is ghostwriting? Now see, ghostwriting is a case where there is something, some myth was there. Sometimes it is being stated in our teaching profession that a person who is a very good teacher sometimes cannot be a very good researcher. Or sometimes a person is very good researcher cannot be a very good teacher in the classroom teaching. Okay, so a joint combination of getting a very good teacher with a good researcher by a same person is very difficult. So what happens? Suppose a person is very good teacher but not a good researcher, but he is under constant pressure to publish. So automatically, what will happen? He is unable to write something, so he will take the help from someone else, someone from outsider who can write the paper on behalf of that person, and he is ready to pay certain amount of money to that person. So once the person will write the paper on behalf of that person, he will publish the paper in his own name without mentioning the name of the person who has written the entire manuscript for him. So that person is called ghostwriter. Okay. But I can tell you that ghostwriting is maybe possible for different reasons. So that sometimes what happened, it is being found. I'm not mentioning anything. It is being found sometimes. Sometimes the mentors are forcing their scholars that please write a paper on behalf of me. And don't expect that I will put your name in this paper. So I will publish the paper only in my own name. So that means that in this paper, there's only one author, and that author is your mentor. Okay. Even though the entire script you have written. So actually, who are you? You become a ghostwriter. Okay, so this particular is a one kind of scientific misconduct that is being highlighted by COPE, Committee on Publication Ethics. Third is called obfuscation. Obfuscation is very common and tendency among the scholars, particularly. You have done a pilot study or you have written something, okay, and the data is not sufficient enough, okay, to give you the result to carry forward the study further. What you have done, you just manipulate the data. Once you manipulate the data, automatically what happened? No, then because your mentor will not check everything that okay, where from you got the data and how I can, how whether the data is original or not. So they will not ask you, they will not verify all those things because it is not possible for a mentor to check all those things. So what happened? The scholar automatically manipulate the data and suppress some of the data, or maybe he may explain or the particular negative findings in a more positive way in front of the mentor. What happened? This technique is called sometimes called spin, S-P-I-N, spin. Okay, that means when you're toning down the negative findings in a more positive way, that is called spin. Okay. Next part is called image manipulation. Now, this image manipulation is very, very common in a disciplines like history, archaeology, geography, science. So it is very rampant, very, very common. And for this image manipulation, there are so many cases happen in India where the researcher, when the senior professors are being accused of image manipulation, that they have taken some images from nature and put it in their own research paper as their own findings. So this is nothing. So it is a case of image manipulation. All those are part of this scientific misconduct. I think up to this part is clear to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because based on that, I will give you some small cases so that
Yes,
you
sir.
can expect that what is your opinion regarding that. Okay, now what happened then? I will come to this FFP a little bit later on. Okay, now I will show you the first case, case one, where lies the problem. Generally, the problem happened with all of us. Okay, I am not exception to the rule. Okay, so maybe it may happen to each and every person in their life when they are undertaking research. The case one is that reviewing the literature. It is more common for the scholars who are now present, maybe in somehow they are present in this particular session. Okay. Now suppose they have their deadline and the mentor has requested them that please submit your literature review of 40 literature review or 30 literature review. What you have done, please show it to me. Okay. Now what they have done, they just go through some papers, they copy and paste. Okay. But what is the main underlying meaning of this literature review, because we know that we undertake the literature review in four. Keep in mind the five important things to get the idea what I've done earlier, to identify the people who are involved in the process of those in generating those ideas, who have done the research in the earlier, and first of next, what methods they have adopted. Lastly, but most important, we try to get connected with those people who are working in the same field where I am working right now. Some of you are working in a particular in a special area of gender diversity. So you try to figure it out that who are those people in India who are working on the field of gender diversity, so that you can connect with those people through LinkedIn or some officially social media platform. So that is why this literature becomes very important for us. Not only that we have to evaluate the past studies and to generate more and more review. Now, what happened in most of the cases, we generally copy and paste from others. Sometimes I found that students are copying from the thesis and then put it in their own thesis as and claiming that, sir, this is my own. I have written of my own. Actually, this is not. Sometimes major problem arise. Some of the scholars are come with a particular opinion. Sir, I am not getting enough paper in the field of research. Okay, in the field of my research or in the field of my area of interest. How to overcome this problem? So my suggestion is that there are one possible way. The first of all, the unethical practice, the research-related unethical practice, first originate from this particular. Okay, so literature review. So what we can do, we can simply avoid the reviewing, copy and paste from others. We try to write the review of the papers in our own language. If you have problem of finding out the right journals, so I have a suggestion for you. You can explore this particular thing. This you can explore this particular site, which is a free site. If you can see, please inform me. Huh? Can you see it?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. My suggestion is that to overcome the problem of, sir, I'm not getting enough paper in the area of my interest, you please use this particular platform which is available freely in the Google search engine, which is called Connected Papers. Suppose you are searching for a paper. Now, suppose I'm trying to write a particular paper. Sometimes it will take some time. So you please write it down once again and click on it. Just a minute. Yes, it is coming right now. Sometimes it will take some time to come. So once you write the topic and then click on the blue button called build a graph, it will give you the build a graph like that. Now with the help of your scrolling, you can enhance the graph a little bit bigger. Okay. Now you can see one thing. Okay. See the point? Here, in in this particular, once I make the, with the help of scrolling, I make the circles a little bit larger. You can see one thing. There are some circles are very big, some circles are very small. So what does it mean? When the circles are big and deep in color, it means that the paper is very significant in the context of your research. And the name of the author and the year was given. So once you put the cursor on the particular circle, and why the circle is big and why the circle is small, the circle is big because the paper has been cited more. That means the paper is very relevant in the context of your research, and the paper is cited more. So you can refer the paper. And second important thing is the circle is small. The paper is important if the color of this particular paper is deep, but yes, it has less cited. So you can use it. Second important thing is that, third important thing is that you can put the cursor on the particular in the middle of the circle, and then automatically you can see all the detailing of the paper is being reflected on the right hand side of your screen. That is the topic name, the paper name, the journal name, the number of citation, even the DOI name is also given. Then you can take the DOI and and put the DUI in the DUI search engine, and you will automatically get the paper if the paper is available. If the paper is not available, then you have to take the help from any particular authentic research reservoir that you have in your university, and then you can download the paper. Otherwise, the simple possible way is that you can collect the DUI number and put this DUI number in a DUI search engine, and automatically you will get the paper. Now you can see another interesting part is that now you can see that some of the papers, some of the circles are interconnected with a deep straight line. What does it mean? Deep straight line means that if the say this particular Norman 2004 is being connected with a 2000 Perini in 2005. That means these papers are well connected. It means these papers are related with each other. You can also refer the paper for the purpose of your research, or as well as for your literature review purpose, so that you can take. So in that way, you can, if you can use this particular site, I hope that the problem of not getting enough paper can somehow you can overcome, and then you can get the relevant papers for the purpose of your research. I hope it is clear to all of you now.
Yes, sir. Sir, can I ask one doubt? I'm one of the participants.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Sir, this is in case when we are getting very few papers to refer. But what if we have many papers, then how to go about that, sir?
Now, see, in case of many papers you have, okay, so you can then automatically synchronize it on the basis of the paper that is more relevant for the purpose of your study. Or if you have your dimension, suppose in your in your thesis you have different dimension of your research, then you cluster it down in according to the dimension, and then review the literature on the basis of their dimension. Okay, suppose impact of you can say there is a one particular topic on retail industry, that there is a retail environment. It may be music, it may be light, it may be sound, all those having an impact on visual merchandising. So when we are writing a literature on visual merchandising, I'm not writing in general the literature review on visual merchandising. I can write some literature review on sound and impact on retail retail selling, music on retail selling, and sound on retail in that way. So that means clustering it down, and then you can review the papers. Or you can, best possible way, if you have a good number of papers, then I have a suggestion. Better you can use this particular, for this particular entire portion of managing your literature review. If you have a good number of papers and vast papers you have collected in a various possible dimension when different co-authors was there, it is my suggestion you can go for a bibliometric analysis. You can put this particular thing in a separate chapter, and automatically what is the advantage of that? Only based on this bibliometric analysis, by virtue of this, you can take this particular portion and you can publish in a very good journal on the basis of the topic that you have selected. Whatever, maybe you are you are maybe in the social science, maybe you are in English, maybe you are political science, sociology, anthropology, law, whatever it may be, in commerce management. I think that is very helpful for you to get a paper ready based on your literature review by using a bibliometric analysis. Okay, I think that will work good.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Basically, I'm a science scholar. So, for my topic, when I search, I'm getting many papers. So,
So
I'm
in
very
that case, then you
confused.
can also do one thing. Yes, but beside that, you can also go for this bibliometric, because in science discipline, if you can apply this bibliometric, automatically you can explore some different dimension. The bibliometric explore the interrelationship between the various this early research that we have done in the field. Okay, so that you can also contribute in a different possible way, other than the wet lab study that you are going to undertake, maybe in the field of botany, or biotechnology, microbiology, or whatever it may be, or chemistry or physics.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Now, see, another important thing is that for overcoming the problem of idea generation, that you have idea that whether which particular topic you will select. So I think better you can go for the Shodhganga first. Okay, because Shodhganga is a reservoir of all Indian thesis. I have given some highlighting of some of the papers, thesis that is available in the Shodhganga of some of the selected universities, commerce, management, mass communication, economics. So you can see the vast number of theses, full theses are available, starting from the front page to the last page. So you can get an idea that what type of study is already being made in the all field of study. And then automatically you can decide that whether the topic that you have selected are already being explored by some other researcher in the various nook and corner of India or not. So this is the one possible way. Some of the unethical issue that you can avoid. Unethical issue relating to the same working on the same topic, working in the same area, copy and paste from others as my own literature review, everything. So this is the first suggestion in case of case one. Case two. In case two, I try to focus on the particular issue of research fraud. I already mentioned the point that research fraud is a part of this scientific misconduct that must focus on three important elements: fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. Now we try to focus on these 3 points in a much more detailed manner. Now, so what is the fabrication and falsification? Now, there are two parts of it. Falsifying the data means you have done the experiment and the result is not coming fruitful and the way you are thinking, so you have manipulated the data. That is called falsification of your data. That means here the researcher has done the experiment, then after that, once he or she will not get the appropriate result, he may falsify the data, change the data structure. So that is called falsification. But data fabrication is something different. You not at all done the study. You have gone through some other papers, you have taken the entire sample size and methodology of everything, and by virtue of that, you have created one particular paper of your own and claim that it is my own. So entire data is called fabricated. Okay. Now in the field of science, particularly in the biological science or life science, particularly in the geography, particularly in the history, archaeological, so all those things, what happen now? Because in that case we are going for experiment. Suppose we are capturing some of the historical site or some of the problems, the archaeological site that we have found. Okay, so what happened nowadays? Nowadays, some of the scholars, some of the people are using some of the software called deepfakes. Okay, with the help, deepfakes is a particular software that runs on the basis of artificial intelligence. Okay, and so that they can create a likeliness of one person. Okay, that is similar type of image that can be created with so that it looks like an original one. Okay, by virtue of that, I can change the shape of this image, I can resize the image, I can change the color, I can make the color image more brighter. Okay, all those things can be done. In the science discipline, this particular problem is prominent, particularly in the biological science, life science particularly. This is more prominent because we are not having to, and that is being explored in the various news media. So many professors, so many scholars, even so many universities are being identified based on this data fabrication and falsification. And that is very nowadays increasing day by day. And some of the top universities and institutions also being identified that some of the people are involved into the process because they have taken some of the images from Nature and some other reputed journals, from Science Journal or Science Direct or something like that, and then automatically manipulate the image. Okay, this is one important thing. Second important thing is that, so what we will do, so here, what we can do, so our first responsibility goes to, we have to experiment with our original data and then reproduce the data as it was without making any further change into it, so that we are clear from our end. We will inform the matter to our mentor so that our mentor must be aware of this issue. Otherwise, what happens, always keep in mind, unethical practice adopted by a mentor or unethical practice adopted by a scholar, but entire responsibility goes to both. And for this, it will hamper the image of the higher educational institution in which you are carrying the brand name. So that is why always keep in mind, institution, mentor, and the researcher, this triangle are always associated in research. If you disturb someone, if you adopt some unethical practice, it will disturb the rest of the things. So always focus on quality of research, not go by the quantity of research. This is my suggestion. Most important thing is that most of the cases, what happens after, suppose in social science, I can tell you, we need one image. And that image, I can search through Google image search engine. I got this image, I copy and paste in my dissertation and write it down and in my research paper as well. And then I'm writing the answer of, or I'm completing my particular article or research or something like that. Without knowing the fact, the concept of this CC, Creative Common License. Okay, so we have to understand this concept of this Creative Common License. Okay, now what is a Creative Common License? I think it is a one of something that you must learn. But whether you are in the field of science, whether you are in the field of commerce, whether you are in the field of any other literature or any other discipline, Creative Common License is very important. An image that you have taken, are you aware of whether it is being licensed, whether it is being copyrighted? You need some permission from them before using this particular image for the purpose of your research. Are you using this particular image for the purpose of developing a brochure, for the purpose of your research, or for organizing any conference or international, national, or whatever it may be? Are you aware of? If no, please listen to me. So that means there are certain point is that we must aware of as a scholar, as a teacher, as a senior academicians. What this is called CC BY. CC BY indicating that if you click on an image, you can find out there is a term is given CC BY. If only the CC BY was given, it means that you can take the image, but provided below the image, you have to give the full reference. That is the full web link where from you have taken along with the access date at which on which particular date you have accessed it. Okay. If it is given CC by SA, that means it means shared alike. CC by means give recognition to the original creator, and CC by means original creator. That means you have to give the original reference of the original creator of this image, and SA means shared alike. You are not permitted to change the image in any possible way. If it is called CC by NC, what does it mean? It means it is for non-commercial purpose. That means you cannot use it for commercial purpose. That means you are creating a brochure and then trying to admit some students into the process. It is not permitted. So non-commercial use. So where we can use this image, you can use this image for classroom teaching purpose. Okay, so that we can use. So non-commercial purpose. If it is given CC by NC by SA, it means CC by NC means non-commercial purpose, but shared alike means whatever it is, I have to use the same thing, but I have to use this image only for purpose of non-commercial purpose, but not for commercial purpose. Okay, then it becomes CC by ND. Okay, what does ND means? No derivation of work. I am not permitted to change the shape, the color, anything of this particular image. And for this, if I try to use this particular thing, I have to take the written permission from this authority. Like for example, I've gone through a particular journal paper which was published from Sage, where I have seen the abstract, but not the paper is available because it is being subscribed. And I have also seen some of the images. Some image that strike my mind, and I have found that yes, if I can use this image for the purpose of my research, it should be very much fruitful. So what you have to do? Can I download? Yes, you can download it. Can I copy and paste it in my dissertation? No, not at all. What you can do, you can write a letter to the Sage addressing the name of the journal, name of the volume, paper name, as well as that image that you required for inclusion in your dissertation. And what is the purpose? Once you receive any reply from their end, then only you are allowed to incorporate it for the purpose of your research. Otherwise not. Then you can ask me one question. Then which type of particular image that I can use in my research? Suppose you want to download some image from Shutterstock. Shutterstock is a huge repository of various kinds of images according to the different mood. So you can download some image from the Shutterstock by giving your FB password, or you can give your Gmail password. You can automatically download some images from Shutterstock. These are the called CC by 0, the last one, CC by 0. Okay, it means what? It means that this image is being uploaded by the original creator, okay, in the public domain. That means in the World Wide Web. So you can use this particular image freely, but provided It is your moral responsibility that you must cite the reference of the original creator. It is not mandatory, but still, citing the original creator is always an acknowledgement that a particular person can give to some other person. So we are allowed only those which can be used in a public domain. That is called CC by 0. Otherwise, not. I hope it is clear to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Achha, now, can you please go through this particular problem, the case that I have created, if I have taken also from my book as well. So please go through it and tell me what is your opinion. Is there any unethical issue? Any one of you can, if you can tell me that whether it is unethical or not.
Sir, it's unethical.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Please go to the case 2. Please tell me whether it's unethical or not.
So that is also unethical, sir.
Okay, that means in both the cases we found, both for the case of Monica and Paul, is unethical. Now, why it is unethical? Prior to that, we try to understand the background of this case, 2 cases. This is called related to problem of case 3. Case 3 is related to authorship issue. Now, what is authorship issue? You know, in science, to write a paper, we are having 5, 6, or 7 authors. Okay, or at least 2 to 3 authors are there definitely. In social science nowadays, when we are planning to write a paper for publishing it in Scopus or Web of Science, definitely one person is not possible to write a good paper. At least we are combining, we are collaborating with each other, and then we are trying to contribute. So here, most important thing is to identify the authorship issue. Authorship issue means who is the author? The persons who are contributing, the persons who are designing, the persons who are gathering the data, or the person who is involved in the process of interpreting, or the person who is revising or drafting the entire manuscript. All the nature are being considered as author. Now, where the problem? The problem arises. Suppose there are 3 persons who is writing a paper. Then who will be the first author, who will be the second author, and who will be the third author? Okay. In case of in some cases where what happened that when you are sending your paper for an international journals, they ask you this question: please specify that which portion is contributed by which author. That is, author specification and their respective contribution must be highlighted in this paper. Otherwise, they are not accepting your paper for further processing. Okay. In India, in most of the cases, what happened, this authorship issue is not so stringent, and automatically it is between mutual understanding between the authors, it is being decided. And there lies the problem. And the problem is being highlighted by both UGC as well as the COPE, Committee on Publication Ethics. Okay. Now, what they have identified, COPE said, specifically said, that 3 types of problem of authorship exist: ghost, guest, and gift authorship. Ghost authorship, I have already mentioned you, the ghost authorship, the person who is writing on my behalf, but I am not acknowledging the person. So that is the main case of ghost authorship. That is, maybe I'm unable to write, or maybe I'm forcing my scholar to write on my behalf so that I can publish. I have seen one case where from a reputed B school, one professor are putting a pressure on a particular scholar to write a paper on her behalf, and then automatically the paper published by the mentor of that particular scholar in a very good listed journal, Scopus listed journal. So that is a case of ghost authorship. In in any part of the paper, the author has cited or acknowledged the person who has contributed wholeheartedly for the development of this paper. So this is a ghost authorship. Guest authorship means the problem arises. What is a guest authorship? The case of Monica is an example of guest authorship. Okay, the example of Paul is an example of ghost authorship. Guest authorship is the example of Monica because Monica is a very clever and very vibrant researcher. She knows the tits and bits of present culture. So she identified if I incorporate the name of the dean as a first author, then automatically there is a high chance that my paper got selected in a UGC CARE Group 1 listed journal. Because the journal that is publishing from our university are UGC CARE listed. So if I put the name of our head, our dean, as a first author and I put myself as a second author, there is a high chance. Now there are two parts. How to overcome this problem? First of all, Monica will not do this kind of things. And second most important thing, the person whom she is approaching will not encourage these kind of things. The senior professor must say that if you have written the paper and if I have contributed something by virtue of idea, by virtue of manuscript revision or anything, any possible way in the domain of authorship, definitely you will incorporate my name, but in the second author, but not as a first author. Okay, so that practice should be implemented from top to bottom, from the professors to assistant professor, from a high senior research scholar or SRF to JRF, anywhere. Okay, so that culture must we have to create. That is to overcome the problem of this guest authorship. But still, it is there in India, and somehow we are not in a position to overcome this problem. Gift authorship. You are working in an organization, in an institution. It is maybe it is a private run, self-financing, or maybe it is a totally privately uh, sponsored. So what happened then? You are working as a professor, assistant professor, associate professor. You may have your dean, you may have your director. So what you have done, you tactfully incorporate the name of your director as a first author, your dean as a second author, and put yourself as a third author. Why? This is a gift that you are making. That said, I have written one paper. Can I incorporate your name? They said, yes, you can do that. Why? You want to please those person for making your path very clear so that you can promote it to the next possible level in a very soon. Okay, so what does it mean? It's a gift authorship. Ghost, guest, and gift authorship is totally an unethical practice from researcher point of view. It people, senior professors, mentor, researcher, all must aware of. Throughout my life, whatever I have written so far, if I written something with my scholars, with my some postgraduate students, I never incorporate myself as a first author. I put their name as a second author after going through the manuscript thoroughly. Because if there is some pitfalls, if something is being found unethical, the scholar is not only responsible, I am also responsible for that. So I have to check twice and thrice before sending the paper for publication. So this is the thing, if you follow, definitely you will overcome the problem. And most important thing is that you have to create your own identity in the world of academics. And that you can create only by virtue. COPE has given a suggestion to all the scholars that please try to overcome these problems of ghost, guest, and gift. Write of your own. At least if one contribution you can make in a year, that is enough. But most important thing is that you try to create your own identity in the world of academics. And that you can create by creating a permanent identity of your own in the field of academics by virtue of this ORCID. So I will request all of you to please create an ORCID ID. If you have this ID, then it's okay. If you do not have, please create this ORCID ID. ORCID ID is very simple process. You can go to the site and then automatically you can go for registration. Okay, you can go for click on this registration. ORCID ID, just like the Aadhaar card that you have, ORCID ID give you a separate identity by virtue of your own name and in the domain of your research, so that people across the globe can recognize you by virtue of your work in the same particular field, and that is being well accepted by you. So I hope that all of you definitely go for ORCID. Even in case of when you are submitting a paper for Emerald, Sage, or Willie, or Taylor and Francis, or something like that, they request you to please submit your ORCID ID. And this ORCID ID nowadays to enhance your research visibility and to enhance the research visibility of your entire institution. This ORCID ID becomes nowadays become very important for all of us. So when we are putting our all the information in the college website, definitely along with your name, picture, and everything, your qualification, you must put your ORCID ID so that people can recognize across the globe by virtue of your ID. I hope it is clear to all of you now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, case 4 is called a case of redundant publication. Now, that is also very common for us. Okay. What is redundant publication? See, we have a general tendency. You know, a couple of years ago, I have found that some of the professors who were very known to me, they're publishing 24 papers in a year. At that time, UGC was not mandatory. So what happened? 24 papers in a year, 10 papers in a year. How it is possible? Writing one paper, it takes sometime more than 6 to 8 months, at least. Okay, minimum to write a good paper, or more than 1.5 year. Okay, to write a good paper, if you want to write of your own. So writing too much paper does not enhance your credibility in the market. Market means in your academic arena. People know, and not in front of you, but beside you, they will say that he can write only 10 papers in a day. So can you understand that what is the quality of the papers? So that is called a one case of redundant publication. What actually you are doing, you are creating a duplicate of your earlier papers. You are keeping your same paper, just changing their title, but rest of the things remain same. Even the hypothesis, the same data, the same sample size, the same methodology, and similar conclusion. Everything remains same. That is called redundant publication. Sometimes there is a change in a redundant, there is a concept called duplicate publication. There is a fundamental difference between redundant publication and duplicate publication. What happens in case of duplicate publication, you are very careful about that. What actually you are doing in case of duplicate publication, you are just changing the title. You are changing some, suppose in the introduction part earlier, what you have submitted and already it is being published, you just change the for 30% of it. Out of the 20 literature review that you have made earlier, you replace 5 literature review. You change a little bit the methodology, only few changes. Earlier it was 150, now you are making it 135. Only few changes you are making. So automatically certain small changes you are making. Some changes you have, or you can keep the methodology and data same, but you are changing some part of the conclusion that you have drawn. So that is called duplicate publication. So duplicate or redundant publication is nothing valuable in the field of academic contribution. It is nothing but a one further contribution in the vast era of knowledge. Okay, so it does not have any credit, goes to the original person. So if you are original creator, if you want to write something, people will recognize you in the field by virtue of your own contribution. Better to write good papers, better to write at least one paper in a year. And that paper you can publish in a very good reputed journal in the area of your research. Okay, so that you can overcome the problem. So my suggestion to the scholars is that how we can overcome the problem of this redundant publication is we can overcome the problem of redundant publication. Don't repeat the same thing once again. We have a general tendency that in particularly in because I have written something and I am working on the same field. So why not I can take something from the other earlier paper and then rewrite the paper in my own possible way. It will also attract some other problem as well in the due course of time. What is that problem? I will inform you. Next important part is that case 5. I have 7 cases. Case 5 is that plagiarism. Last day, I think I have also attended a session, and there is a one scholar has asked the question that what is plagiarism? Actually, it is called academic dishonesty, not by me, by virtue of the UGC publish a particular special notification through extraordinary gazette in 2018, and where UGC has been specified the term plagiarism means academic dishonesty, and where you have breached some of the rules, ethical rules of research. Okay, now what type of plagiarism it was? Okay, plagiarism can be of 3 different types. Maybe of wider type, I will explain you. Generally, it may have 3 different types. Okay, what are those types actually? The types are, you can text plagiarism. You can copy from others. You can copy the words of the others and claim it of your own without having proper attribution and citation. That is called text plagiarism. You can take the idea from others. Idea plagiarism. What example I have given earlier, the case of an associate professor in a political science is an example of idea plagiarism. Okay, there is a case of text plagiarism. The text plagiarism is also being known as cut and paste plagiarism. We have a huge tendency among the undergraduate students when they are submitting their assignment, when they are submitting their project, cut and paste plagiarism. But that is not a end of it. There is too much in-depth process of it. What are those processes? Now take an example of idea plagiarism. I have taken some novel idea from someone and then automatically what we can do. So see, I have a suggestion to all of you that see, if I have some idea, don't share your idea with someone else until and unless you have converted it in the form of a written article or research paper. You try to convert this idea into a written paper. Okay, maybe in the form of a research article, maybe an empirical research, or maybe a qualitative study. What you can do? Okay, because if someone came across the idea from you, automatically he or she can write a paper and publish it. Then automatically you cannot get any kind of justice from the authority that see, the person has taken my idea, how I can overcome the problem. Okay, can I sue against the person? Not possible, because there is no quantitative measure and no, okay, by a non-expert can convince that idea has been plagiarized. If the person said no, the idea is in my mind for 4 years ago and now I am just materialize the idea into a written form, you cannot claim that the idea is not his own. You cannot say like that. So this is very important. What you can do here, you can don't share your idea with some until and unless you are converting the idea into a written words or a good paper and publish the particular paper. Or you can do one thing. If you're working in the social science, you're working in the science domain, you can do one thing. Instead of publishing the paper, you can try to go for a copyright. You can submit your documents to the Patent Office of India and try to obtain one copyright for the particular topic. The topic, the area of research, which is totally new and thought-provoking and innovative one. You can take a patent out of it. Once you go for a patent, no one can take your idea. Or if you publish the paper in a very good reputed journal in Sage, Taylor and Francis or Wiley or something like that, that no one can take your idea. So that is a possible way you can overcome the problem of this idea plagiarism. Okay. If you have any question, you can ask me as well during this particular process. Okay. Achha, can you tell me, can you go through the question, particular case, and can you give me your idea? What course of action do we adopt in case of question number B? Any one of you? Hello, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any one of you can give me the answer. What is your opinion regarding question number B? Do you think Kaya should be get penalized for that? Any one of you in from the session?
Evening, sir.
Hello?
Am I audible, sir? Yes, sir. This is Kritika. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, please tell me.
Yes, sir. According to me, if only from that given statement, I can think like that. I can think like that. Only the title is plagiarized, not the whole idea or not the whole paper, but only the title. So I think she shouldn't be penalized. According to me, sir. Maybe I am wrong.
No, paper had plagiarized from a similar type of paper. That means from a similar type of paper, the entire paper has been plagiarized.
Oh,
Okay.
the entire thing is
Ah,
plagiarized. Then yes,
wearing the
she
same
will
title.
be.
Even the title is also same. Even the title
Yeah,
is also same.
then she will be obviously penalized. I think so, sir.
Okay, ma'am. So I got an opinion from our one of the participants, sincere participant, that Kaya should be penalized. But I have a one objection here, that are the Kaya is aware of the concept of ethics? Are the Kaya aware of the concept of plagiarism related issue and its consequence? If yes, definitely we can take some action against Kaya. If not, definitely we have to rethink into the matter and provide some best practice into our institution to inculcate the culture of creating an awareness among our undergraduate students, among our postgraduate students, among our senior faculty members, even our junior faculty members. The problem of this.
Sir, I have a doubt in this. So, just going for a penalize for the Kaya, like maybe like we can give a warning message or something like that, like we do, like this paper has been plagiarized, something like that. Can we do like that, sir?
Absolutely, ma'am. I am totally agree with the valuable opinion that you have given right now. We will give her the idea that what is the consequence instead of penalizing her, because that will spoil her life in a near future. If I withdraw the best paper award from Kaya, she will be blacklisted. Okay, so better we can inform Kaya informally, or call the particular person in the office, and then in a dean's office or department, and then inform the Kaya, and then from next day onwards, we try to inculcate the culture of this. Now, question is, what type of plagiarism was done by Kaya? Thanks for this valuable opinion, ma'am. Now, what type of plagiarism is generally done by the Kaya? We came across
It's
that there are different
it's
types of
both the idea and the text plagiarism, according to.
idea and text plagiarism. Thank you. Idea and text plagiarism. Idea is taken from someone else, and the text plagiarism. But actually, if we try to go deep into the matter, then we want to see that there are various possibility of the plagiarism type. Now you can relate with each other in your day-to-day life. I can tell you. This is called patchwork plagiarism. You can find out this patchwork plagiarism more applicable for undergraduate students, postgraduate students, MPhil scholars. Okay, before the deadline, what they will do, they can collect the material from here and there. Even sometimes they collect material from Wikipedia as well, because Wikipedia is not an authentic source of reference. Okay, they collect here and there without any attribution or acknowledgement, and then they create a particular study assignment. They are preparing their project, or scholars are preparing their material ready for submission for the assignment. This is called patchwork plagiarism. I'm coming to the point later in much more detailed manner. Self-plagiarism. You are a researcher, you are a faculty member, you want to put yourself that I'm a most vibrant researcher. So what you have written one paper, and that was very good. Now you are using the same paper once, you can just like a duplicate publication. What you are doing, you are taking the same paper and then writing another paper, changing some of the part, that is why it's called duplicate, and then automatically you are publishing once again. But when you are publishing the paper, at that time you are not citing the earlier paper that you have used with for maximum possible way for the purpose of drafting your new paper. That is, you have taken 80% from your paper that you have used for your, that is not allowed actually, but you have taken it for writing the new paper. That is called self-plagiarism, because taking something from your own, already published, already accepted, or already published in an edited volume, maybe published in an ISSN journal, maybe published in any review paper, whatever it may be the nature, but you have to cite the paper definitely in your next paper. Otherwise, you will be caught as self-plagiarism. And self-plagiarism is also one of the most unethical uh, issue, as it was identified both by COPE, Committee on Publication Ethics, and by UGC. Third, so we have to cite. We have to attribution must be given. We have to cite to avoid self-plagiarism. Third point is a direct plagiarism, word-to-word transcription. We have so many scholars out there from English. We have so many scholars from social science. We have so many scholars from law. So they can ask me one question. I have to quote Shakespeare. I have to quote Keats. I have to quote Shelley. How I can change? I have to put word by word. So is this caught as plagiarism? Yes, it is called plagiarism, provided you have to follow some techniques to avoid the problem of direct plagiarism. Suppose you have taken something word to word from someone else, and then you have to give an attribution. First of all, attribution or citation you have to give. But how to overcome this? At that time, to overcome this problem of direct plagiarism, there are two possible way you have. There are two type of codes are available. One is called short code, one is called long code. Short code is less than 40 words and long code is more than 40 words. For the short code, you have to put the entire word by word you have copied from others within double quote, and then you have to at the end of the code you have to give the parenthetical citation. The the nature of this parenthetical citation means first bracket start, surname of the author, comma, year of publication of this paper, bracket close. That is called parenthetical citation. In respect of direct, less than 40 words, that is in case of short code. In case of long code, which is more than 40 words, you have to put it in a separate paragraph and make the entire word without double quote. Without double quote, you have to put the entire paragraph put the entire words in a separate paragraph and make it italicized. And at the end of it, you have to give parenthetical citation. Is that point is clear to all of you in how to overcome this direct plagiarism? There are two possible ways. Either you can use a long quote or you can use short quote. Less than 40 words, short quote, more than 40 words, long quote. For the short quote, you have to put within double quote, and then at the end of this quote, you have to give parenthetical citation. In case of long quote, which is more than 40 words, in that case, you have to put the entire words in a separate paragraph, make it italicized, and then you can give the parenthetical citation. At that time, by virtue of that, you can avoid the possibility of direct plagiarism. Accidental plagiarism happens, suppose you are using a vast data of resources, you have huge literature review you have done, sometimes you miss some of the referencing or attribution. So at that time, sometimes you have used certain things, you have given some review, but forget to mention that the where from you have taken that particular attribution or citation. At that time, you can manage a particular exercise copy or a particular book or particular MS Word for maintaining all the references and citation accordingly, so that you can avoid accidental plagiarism. Last part is called mosaic plagiarism. It's very interesting. Suppose you gone through a newspaper article or you gone through a particular some other offbeat books related to your area of study, and then automatically you can came across some catchy phrase. That phrase strike your mind. Then you forget after 1 and 2 months, you forget the book that you have read, but the phrase remains in your mind subconsciously. At the time when you are writing a particular article or when you are writing a research paper or your thesis, automatically, knowingly or unknowingly, you are incorporating that particular phrase for the timing, for the purpose of your research. Now, automatically, it will caught by the software as plagiarized portion. So in that case, automatically, the most important thing is that you can avoid this mosaic plagiarism by either you can avoid it or you can use it with proper attribution. Then in that case, the mosaic plagiarism can be avoided. So there are 5 possible ways the plagiarism can happen, and there are 5 possible ways we can overcome the problem of this plagiarism type. Okay. Now you can ask me one question. Said in that case, so when we are writing our thesis, for MPhil scholar and PhD scholar, then where's the problem? Then what type of things we can generally avoid it? Now, for self-plagiarism, I have already mentioned that sometimes that you have written earlier and you want to incorporate that. Self-plagiarism is also an unethical issue. Now, what happened in the case of self-plagiarism? Okay, in respect of self-plagiarism, that we have to refer our earlier work in order to avoid all type of possible penalty. Most important thing is that penalty for the perpetrators. That means the person who has done this misconduct, penalty for that person. Okay. In case of, suppose you have, if it was found that you have intentionally you have done, so please make a report to the editor that, sir, I forget to mention my paper where from I have taken for in drafting my second paper. Okay. And then editor will do one thing. Editor will pass a particular erratum. Okay, erratum means some error that happened in the earlier published edition. So make some correction. So a particular statement that they can give in this in this particular paper, this is the correction that we have to make. Sorry for this particular typo error. So this type of erratum that can be given by the editor once they receive any kind of notification from your end. If in spite of the fact, knowingly you are not send any intimation to them, automatically penalty can be imposed to the respective concerned author. So you should be very careful that when you are writing the paper of your own, when you are in collaborating with your mentor to write a paper, try to avoid the concept of self-plagiarism, because otherwise both of you will in trouble. Okay. Now you can ask me one question, that's what type of things that we can exclude while we are checking our thesis through Authenticate or Turnitin or Urkun software. As per the UGC guideline, UGC has specified in their extraordinary gazette that was published in 2018 that please exclude the following things for the purpose of checking the entire thesis for plagiarism. All quoted material that is being reproduced with all permission, all reference, bibliography, table of content, preface, acknowledgement. All those things should be excluded. So then when you are submitting your thesis, one full thesis and one thesis by excluding all those for the purpose of plagiarism checking, you have to submit. All small similarity of minor nature. Suppose the name of your college, the name of like Parallel University, Department of Commerce, it also got plagiarized. But we have to, or Research Foundation of India, it will got plagiarized because so many people across the India have used this particular name for different purpose. So automatically it will got plagiarized. So you have to set in the machine that during the that these words, this particular term, we will exclude for the purpose of our evaluation of plagiarism for this particular scholar. Generic terms, standard symbols, standard equation, hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, or any standard error, all those common terms should also be fit into the model before we check the plagiarism or before we run the plagiarism software like Authenticate or Turnitin. Okay, so this is the 4 important parameters that was given by UGC to overcome this issue. There are 4 possible levels that was given by UGC as a part of penalty to the scholars. If it is found after checking through the plagiarism through software, it is less than 10%, then no penalty can be imposed by the department. If it is found or by the higher education institution, that is where you are undertaking your research, MPhil or PhD. If it is found that you are in level 1, where 0 to 40, 10% to 40% is there, then automatically what happens, there is the department, the board of studies, the board of research committee can extend the time period for that particular scholar for a period of 6 months. There is additional 6 months the person will get to resubmit the paper, the manuscript for the purpose. If you are falling the level 2, 40 to 60%, then students are not allowed to submit his or her thesis for a period of 1 year. But if the thesis was found, total most of them have copy and paste from others, more than 60%, then there is a chance that the registration for that candidate shall be cancelled. Depends on the recommendation which was given by 2 authorities. One is called DAIP, one is called IAIP. I'm coming to that point later on. For the faculty members, if they submitted some thesis or if they submitted some papers for a research for publication, and the particular journal authority communicate the matter to the principal of this college, that some of the faculty have submitted one paper and the paper got plagiarized, and they inform the matter to the authority, your higher authority, your principal, then what will happen? If it is less than 10%, your institutional authority will ask you, please withdraw the paper. If it is found between 10 to 40%, they will ask you to please withdraw the paper. Okay, and there is no penalty for that. If you fall in level 2, 40 to 60%, then 1 annual increment of that respective faculty member must be stopped. And the faculty member, whatever may be his level, assistant, associate, and professor, are not allowed to guide master's, MPhil, and PhD students for a period of 2 years. If it is being found that it is being caught at more than 60%, then 2 annual increment of that particular faculty member must be stopped, and the person is not allowed to guide any MPhil, master's, and PhD scholar for a period of 3 years. So penalty is there, consequence must be there, So we should be very careful when we are going for joint submission of your paper along with our researcher. Researcher also bear the responsibility shoulder to shoulder with their mentor. Okay, so that they can publish right paper, good paper, quality paper, but not on quantity. Quantity doesn't matter, quality matter, and without having any kind of plagiarized portion. What to do and what not to do. Don't copy from others. Please make authentic decision, write of your own. Don't recycle the pictures, image, text, okay, from others. Okay, try to write your own, keeping the essence of the original. That is sometimes called paraphrasing. And whenever it's possible that you want to incorporate something, but it is very difficult for you to write, you can take permission from that particular authority. If you're not getting permission, ask to someone else where from you will get the permission. And then automatically you can incorporate it for the purpose of further publication. Now, UGC has also explained the point of paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is also allowed. That paraphrasing is not illegal, but paraphrasing should be done by the researcher in such a way so that the originality of the keeping the originality of the original contributor must be retained in the way as it was presented in his paper. But this paraphrasing can be cited in a three possible ways. Citation can be done at the beginning, citation can be done in the middle, and citation can be done at the end in respect of paraphrasing. So preferably, citation at the end, as per the international standard is concerned, is more acceptable. This is called parenthetical citation. Bracket, last name, comma, year, and then bracket close. Okay. There are two authority was there to look after this unethical part, what is called DIP and IIP. I already put Departmental Academic Integrity Panel and Institutional Academic Integrity Panel. What is this function is all about? DIP comprises of a chairman who is the head of the department of your esteemed department, like Department of Commerce, Department of Management, Department of Political Science. There are three members. Out of this, another member who is a senior academician from outside the department, from outside your department, but within the department, within your institution. And the third member, a person who is well known about the use of this plagiarism tool. Okay, these persons are appointed for a period of 2 years. The B and C, the two members are being appointed for a period of 2 years, and they submit their report regarding a particular person, accused person, within a period of 45 days to IAIP, Institutional Academic Integrity Panel. IAIP comprises of a chairman. The chairman may be a provisee, dean, or a senior academician. One member other than the chairman to be nominated by the principal of the college, by any other person other than that person is from the same department. Third member is being appointed by the head or the principal from outside your own college or from your own university, from other university or other college as well. And the last one, the third member, other than the chairman, the person must be used to with this plagiarism software, that is plagiarism tool analyzer expert. And all the members are being appointed for a period of 3 years. And the joint decision, the decision taken by IIP should be final while executing this decision regarding this particular portion for the faculty members or for the scholars. So DIP will inform the matter to IIP, and IIP are responsible to take the final decision regarding this particular issue, that whether they will penalize the person, whether they will cancel the entire registration of the candidate or not. Okay. Last part, case 6 is called salami slicing. I think all of you are aware of that. All of you are preparing your manuscript for your thesis, dissertation purpose. What happened? In respect of salami slicing, we have done our PhD. Our PhD is huge, voluminous, and we have cut down the entire PhD thesis into smaller part and publishing it 2-3 articles, 4-5 articles out of it. Suppose my study is based on 500 sample, 100 sample I have published one paper, another 100 I have published another paper, 100 sample another paper, and in that way. So 500 sample means 5 publication. Okay, that is called cutting the slice of your entire PhD thesis into smaller part and get it ready for publication is called salami slicing. This is totally illegal from the viewpoint of COPE and UGC. They say salami slicing is not at all allowed to any scholar. You can ask me one question. So what to do, sir? in respect of once I complete my PhD, what I will do. If your topic was unique, either you cannot publish the thesis in the form of a book. If you're ready to interested, you can take the permission from your authority department and from your mentor, and you can publish in joint collaboration with your mentor in the form of an edited book or a particular book you can publish. You can also do one thing. Instead of publishing a book, most of the people are going for book publication. You can go for a copywriting of your particular thesis that you have done. You also add feather in your cap, also add feather in the cap of your mentor as well as the HEI in which you are doing your research. So that you can do. Now, you can ask me one question, that how the salami slicing can be overcome. Salami slicing is not illegal when your entire work is longitudinal in nature. That is, you are taking a long journey, long research, and suppose your research is based on 10 years period, window period. And for the 5 years, you have published one paper, and next 5 years, you have published another paper. At that time, when it is longitudinal in nature, at that time, you can subdivide the entire period into two possible parts and publish in the form of a two consecutive paper. So that is a case of salami slicing. Or you can publish the thesis in a theme wise. You are working on a two different theme. Based on first theme, you can publish one paper. For the second theme, you can publish another paper. So theme wise, you can publish paper to overcome the problem of salami slicing. I hope it is clear to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you all for. I have completed my presentation here regarding this the topic that I have shown to all of you. If you have any question, you can ask me. Hello.
Sir, my sincere appreciation. You have covered very nicely all the doubts or all the.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Anyway, so very much.
Hello. If you have any question, you can.
Sir, it's my request that please drop out your email ID on the chat window so that it will be very easy for all the participants. If they have any doubt after the session, then they can contact you.
Okay, I'm putting my mail ID here. Okay.
Yes, sir. It will be very easy for all of the participants. And it's time to show our gratitude to you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. You share your deep knowledge in the session, and it was very interesting to hear you. I hope the session will be able to build milestones for all research scholars. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this. If you have any question, you can ask me, or otherwise, I can take your permission. I can then leave accordingly. Yes, I think Urvashi ma'am has one question.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, actually, I have one doubt. I have seen many PhD students that during their PhD thesis, they also publishes their paper in between. So that will also come under salami slicing.
See, the thing is that salami slicing is applicable when you cut down your entire PhD thesis. Okay, when you cut down once you have done your work, and then automatically you can making a small pieces of your entire work and publish it in the form. I have seen so many cases that they have done. The example that I have given, it is from the original experience that I have seen, that 500 sample studies they have made, 100 they have done and make it a 5 paper publication. So that is actually salami slicing. What you can do, suppose you have the entire study, you can publish in the form of a book, and then automatically, based on the entire essence, based on the literature review or something, that you can create a bibliometric analysis or something like that, or some qualitative tools you can apply and then publish one paper. That is totally different. Based on a similar idea, you can publish differently. Nowadays, what happened, the UGC has make it clear that for submission of your thesis, earlier 2 publication is necessary in Scopus or Web of Science or UGC-CARE Group 1, but now that is not mandatory. So now you can go for only your dissertation to improve your dissertation and submit your dissertation full-fledgedly. Okay, what you have to do, you can think that whether your contribution is noteworthy or not. If your contribution is noteworthy, at that time you can contribute later on for the enhancement of this academic fraternity that you can do.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was a very nice session. Thank you, sir. Very
Thank you, ma'am.
informative.
Thank you.
So all the participants, if you have any doubt, you may ask.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is Swati. Sir, actually, earlier also I had a doubt regarding the science related queries. So, me coming from a microbiology background, sir, I have not yet decided about my topic. I'm just allotted with my guide. So, after I am going to confine with my topic and all, if I have to do a review of literature in a written part, if I have to submit in a kind of small document of the review of literature, will there be any targeted journals or number of journals to be referred, sir? Like number 50 or 100?
No, there is no specification actually, ma'am. Actually, there is no specification. You have to write 30 literature review, 40 literature review. Actually, there is no specification. And are you interested to publish that literature review that you have made?
No, sir. This will be
Okay.
for
No, actually, this is totally
reference.
based on the policy of the respective concerned university as well as your guide. Totally depends
Oh,
on your guide.
oh,
Actually, I am a reviewer of various PhD theses. I have seen that in suppose in what happened in our in Bengal, in Calcutta, what we have seen that in our chapter 1 we are incorporating the literature review. Okay, and in case of I have seen in Madras University that they are keeping some separate chapter for literature review. Chapter 2 is for literature review. Okay, chapter 1 is initial and chapter 2 focus on the entire literature. So you can do a comprehensive literature review by encompassing of 70, 80 or 100 papers. It totally depends on the policy of the institution. It will vary, the format is varied. The dissertation format is varied from one institution to another institution. Depends on their policy actually. Okay. Like we incorporate literature review in chapter 1. We are not keeping some separate chapter for literature review here. But here, I have seen in South, in what happened that they have a separate section for literature review. Actually, it totally vary. There is no fundamental rule is there for writing this kind of things. So you can decide with your mentor how many literature review that you can incorporate. But yes, if it is possible that if you can take it from a various dimension, incorporating from the latest one to the older one, so that you can get the variation in the journey of the changes that may took place. It should be better reflect the area of your research and give you the insight into the methodology, so that you can try to defend and try to find out your research gap accordingly.
yes, sir. So when we are quoting these review of literature references, is it mandatory that we give only from the research articles, or can we take it from any books?
Yes, you can take it from books as well, but preferably from papers is more acceptable. Preferably
Okay.
from papers is very acceptable. But you can incorporate, suppose you can get some information from a magazine that was science magazines. Okay, maybe it's a very good one, but not in ISSN. That you can incorporate in the text when you're crafting your content. In the way of footnote, you can incorporate that. Or maybe if not in footnote, you can incorporate in the endnote as well, that information. I think that is more important.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your patient answers and the informative sessions. Thank you, sir.
It is my duty to share all the information with all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Any more doubt if anybody has? So the participants, you can mail your doubts if you are thinking that if you have any confusion after some time, then you can mail us. So sir,
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
I think you will get all the doubts through the mail.
Okay, thank you to all of you. Thank you, the Research Foundation of India. Thank you, Nikita ma'am, once again to hosting the entire session very smoothly. And also the coordinator ma'am. I have not seen the ma'am, Priyanka ma'am and Gunjan ma'am. Thank you for all this. And thanks to both the university and the college as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful session. Thank you from entire RFI team. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, participants. The session is over now.
Thank you.